coming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is crisp and beautiful. The stock market, not so beautiful. In fact, I'm staring at the Dow Jones Industrial Averages as we speak, and I see this hideous looking big red candle engulfing the action from yesterday, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all about that. I'm going to take a look at YouTube on my phone to make sure all is well. Lately, I've been surprised by things that I didn't like, so let's just see if I got sound and everything. Yeah, everything looks okay. Okay, so I don't normally come to you at this time. I come to you with Spike and others on Fridays, but I did not like today's action on the street. Spike and I on Friday night said we'd have a possibility of an ugly week with a sell-off of 3 to 4%. And I think that still stands, but today's candle really did upset me. So the turnaround happened when I think talk from Washington that the Democrats were looking to impeach the president based on this Ukrainian telephone call with the Ukrainian prime minister. I don't know. I'm not at all happy about that. I don't care politically. I'm basically apolitical, but it wouldn't be good for the markets, I don't think. There's uncertainty. So we're seeing it reflected in the markets. We're seeing geopolitical events influence the markets. Usually they are short-lived and furious. Well, today was a furious turnaround, as you can see. And if my theory is right that it's short-lived and furious, it'll either come down to about the 50 or probably lower, more like the 38.2% retrace, right about 26.3, 26.4. So I think 26,300 to 400 may do the trick here, even with this ugly looking engulfing. But if it doesn't, then we're going to fall into the 200-day net. Thank goodness for the 200-day net. Look at all this springboard action, like a trampoline off the 200. Even if it goes below, it comes right back. So this is having a trampoline effect over many, many tries at going through it. So I'm fairly confident that this will hold. And if we come down this low, I will be adding to all my positions, I think. So 25, what is this about? What is this low? This low is 25.6, so maybe about 25.7 or 25.8. Somewhere around there is a time, I think, to be buying everything if it does dip that low. And I think if it happens, it's going to happen real quick. So my friend Spike will make money on his VIX longs. He goes long the VIX as a proxy for shorting the market. I think you made a good call here, Spike, on buying those VIX longs. I don't know the symbol, what TVIX or whatever the heck it is. I don't know. There's a few ways to play the VIX long. SPX, we'll have to ask Spike on Friday. The spiders also didn't look too good today, along with the rest of the indices. But the spiders didn't look quite as bad as the Russell 2000, which sold off 1.7%. Spiders sold off 0.84%. So let's take a look here. We have solid support at 28.20. So 28.20 to 28.70 should be the bottom here. of any sell-off if we get that low. Kind of like the analogy to the 200 in the Dow. So I don't see it selling all the way off, all the way down to the 200, although it could because the 200 curved up. So it could certainly, actually, it could hit the 200 before it hits this wall of support at around 28.20. So a good stopping point might be, in fact, 28.27. I think that's where the spiders are now. Something like that. What would be the low here? The low of the day here would be 28.34. So anywhere around there between 28.20, 28.35, 28.40 would be a good time to buy, in my opinion. Buy the indices, buy the individual stocks, whatever suits your fancy. A lot of the individual stocks have turned ugly looking, the charts, that is. This chart is still as it should be, the 50 above the 100, above the 200, and there's only a mild little curvature down on the 50. So we're far from crossing the 100. So I'm still feeling confident that whatever we get in the downside, we will get in a hurry so that volatility will rule, and ultimately this upward trend line will take over again. So maybe it comes all the way down to test it and then comes back up. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a test of this. What I have is 61.8 is really 38.2. No, it is 61.8. From the top being right around here, top being 30.25. I actually do it a little too high. Take a little off the top. That's better. So the 61.8 is exactly right for a great stopping point for a ferocious little sell-off from the most recent, one of the most recent highs to the low on 6.3. So that's an interesting stopping point there. Okay, so that's where we are with the averages. Dr. J is still of the opinion we're going to get a fast and furious downward move till the end of the week. And then probably it'll all be over and we go back up for the month of October. I see October being a strong month, followed by a strong November and December, unlike last year where we crashed going into the last week of December and finally turned it around after Christmas. I see it being a strong fourth quarter. I hope. No, that's really what I'm looking at. That's what I believe to happen. I think we'll get a fast and furious sell-off followed by a rally. Geopolitical events not being factored in. I know that's difficult to not factor in, but I think geopolitical events have a fast and furious action on the market. And once the uncertainty is removed, the markets settle down and go about their normal business. That's how I've seen it play out. Kronos Group is something that hurts Dr. J because I have a lot invested in Kronos and I'm taking it on the chin. I did sell all my ACB. I sold out my position on ACB totally today at about $5. And that hurt too, but I figured if I stayed in it, I'd get a bigger loss. So I took the hit on that. It was harder for me to take a hit on Kronos. I believe much more in it. So I'm still in it. What do I think one should do if you're in Kronos? Probably not what I'm doing. In other words, I'm not saying you should sell because I didn't, but the chart is turning not so good. We have a weekly chart here where we have a long-standing upward trend line that's been broken today. That's one pretty bad negative. Support looks like all the way down here on the weekly at 650. At 650. So that's the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. The daily doesn't look much better. In fact, it looks even worse. You have this long, very long trend line down, and it's scary how it's just accelerating today with a big red candle. So it looks pretty ugly on the yearly. Let's just crunch this together for maybe a better picture of how ugly it looks. The 50 crossed the 100 way back here in May, end of May, and it crossed the 200 back here in August 8th, and both crosses proved to be ominous. So how low will it go is anybody's guess. I'm thinking that 650 might be in play here. Pot has not been hot. Pot has been anything but hot. So there's probably more to go on the downside for Kronos, CGC. And let's take a look at the chart on curlf, which I've been a strong advocate for. I've been buying a lot of that, and I'm taking it on the chin there. I'm taking it on the chin on all my pot stocks, as are most pot longs. That's a strange thing to say, pot longs. But holding pot stock has not been a very wise move. And Dr. J has been holding some of this too long. Although Cureleaf, I'm not getting killed like I am on Kronos. I'm still behind. And today's candle is very scary. Look at that big red candle, and it closed near at the bottom of the day's trading. Very ugly, closing below the 50, whereas for its 50 has been excellent support. Also, the chart is inverted. It's below, it just crossed the 200 back in August, and it crossed the 100 back in July. So this too has an ugly chart. And if we look at this accumulation day, heavy accumulation, fairly heavy on 8/28, the close that day was 678. And I think that is certainly in play. So 678, I drew the line right about that point. It could act as a buffer or somewhere in the middle of this candle. So I'm looking for support on Cureleaf, which I think will be somewhat stronger than the pot produces. I see less downside in a Cureleaf than I do in the pot produces. Although who knows, there's been arguments presented that the branding will not be so important. The name Cureleaf will not be so important. That'll be, pot will essentially be commoditized. And if that's the case, Cureleaf has tough sledding ahead. But I still think that Cureleaf has potential to the upside. I think it consolidate down to about 650 maybe. And after that, I think it could go back or should go back to a retest of the $8 level. So Cureleaf, short-term pain, long-term gain. That's how I see Cureleaf. Athx should have been added to my list that I gave on Friday. The list I gave on Friday, that included two other biotechs, Geron and CVM, correct? Well, I didn't chart either of those today, but athx is another one of those biotechs with tremendous potential. That's why we're in biotech, because of enormous potential energy, potential gains. So you have to have a dream when it comes to biotech. My dream for this particular stock is that it be approved in Japan for ischemic stroke late next year, probably around this time of the year. And from there, zoom. That is a timer that I set because I promised that I would not go more than 30 minutes. So let me just wrap this up. Dr. J likes athx long-term, strong upward trend line that it tested today. It held in that it closed above the trend line, but a close below the trend line, a clear break of this trend line, would send it likely down to lows of the year. So you got to watch this trend line on athx. If it holds trend, and it may, because it's got plenty of room to go before it has to break out either to the top or the bottom. So it may actually fill this little triangle. And that's what I think is likely to happen. Athx may defy the next 3 days of selling and just kind of hang out where it is. I'd love to see it buck the trend. I think there's enough interest to the long side on athx that it could buck a sell-off and even move up on a sell-off. So that's where we are. I'm going to stop screen share. As always, do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. I know I didn't give you any notice today on my coming on live, and I apologize for that, but I honestly didn't have it in mind. But when I saw the engulfing candle in the Dow, I said, I have to warn my friends of possible imminent danger over the next 3 days. Even if tomorrow is like a break-even day, there's potential for Thursday, Friday to end up pretty bad for the week. So this has been Dr. J with a mixed message, I guess, one of short-term pessimism, long-term optimism. Wishing you all a great trading day for tomorrow and the rest of the week. I want to say adios, amigos, hasta, however you say Friday. Take care, everybody. Sayonara. Ciao. Don't forget to subscribe. Final words for tonight.